Hello, fans. Josslyn may not just be missing. I think she may be trapped inside the one place in Port Charles where truth goes to die, Windermere. And in my opinion, if this theory is right, then this is not only about saving Josslyn. This could be about exposing a much darker plan, one that may be trying to turn her into another Anna. I could be wrong. This is just my interpretation. But I feel like every clue is pointing toward a terrifying repeat of the past. I keep coming back to one question. Why Windermere? Why that place? Why that island? Why that house full of secrets, ghosts, old enemies, and buried crimes? I don't think Josslyn being taken there would be random. I think Windermere may be chosen because it already has a history of making people disappear, making victims sound unstable, and making the truth look like madness. And that is where the real horror begins. Because I remember what happened to Anna. I remember how she was held, drugged, manipulated, and moved before anyone fully understood what was happening to her. I remember how she talked about Faison, how she insisted something was wrong, and how the people around her could look at her and wonder if she had lost touch with reality. In my opinion, that was the cruelest part. It was not just the captivity. It was the way her credibility was destroyed. So now I ask myself, what if Cassius is trying to do the same thing to Josslyn? Not just kidnap her, not just scare Carly, not just send Sonny into a rage. I think Cassius could be planning something much more personal and much more dangerous. He may want Josslyn released alive, but broken in a way that makes her testimony useless. He may want her drugged, confused, terrified, and dismissed. He may want her to say the truth so wildly that nobody believes her. That, to me, is the perfect villain move. I feel like Cassius may understand something very important about Port Charles. Sometimes the easiest way to hide a crime is not to bury the victim. It is to make the victim sound impossible to believe. And if Pascal, the Windermere butler, is involved, I think that adds another layer. Pascal could be the quiet hand inside the house, the person who keeps the doors locked, controls the food, watches the hallways, and makes sure Josslyn never knows who she can trust. I don't see Pascal as just a servant in this theory. I see him as someone who may know exactly how Windermere works. He may know every room, every passage, every blind spot, every place where a scream could disappear. But here is where I think Josslyn may have an advantage Anna did not have. Josslyn has too many people who would notice her absence immediately. Carly would not let this go. Sonny would not sit still. Jason would not stay away. Brennan would understand the danger. Valentine may recognize the Windermere pattern faster than most. And that is why I feel Josslyn could be rescued sooner than Anna was. Still, I don't think the rescue would be simple. Carly's fear would be explosive. I can imagine her trying to force answers out of everyone, blaming herself, blaming Brennan, blaming Sonny, maybe even blaming Jason for not seeing the danger sooner. Sonny would bring his own kind of pressure, but I think this situation may be too delicate for Sonny's usual methods. If Cassius and Sidwell are connected in a bigger way, then brute force could make everything worse. That is where Brennan comes in. In my opinion, Brennan may know where to look, but he may not be able to move openly. I think he may realize that saving Josslyn through normal channels could expose him, compromise his position, or bring Cullum and Sidwell down on him in a way he cannot survive. I don't think that means Brennan is weak. I think it means he may be trapped by the kind of enemies who destroy people through leverage, not bullets. So who does Brennan turn to? I think he turns to Jason. And that is where the emotional punch lands for me. Jason does not need a long explanation when Josslyn is in danger. He sees her as family. Maybe not by blood, but by history, loyalty, and love. Josslyn is Carly's daughter. Josslyn grew up in Jason's orbit. And in my opinion, Jason would walk into Windermere knowing it could be a trap if it meant bringing her home. But I think Brennan may sweeten the deal anyway. If Jason rescues Josslyn, Brennan may offer him something huge. Freedom. Not just temporary protection. Not just a favor. I think Brennan could offer Jason a path out of the control and danger surrounding him. I could be wrong, but I feel like that kind of bargain would fit the stakes. Brennan gets his agent back. Carly gets her daughter back. Jason gets a chance at freedom, but no deal in Port Charles comes clean. Here's the question I keep asking. Would Jason accept the deal because of freedom, or would he accept it because of Josslyn? I think the answer is both, but not equally. Jason may want freedom, but he would not need payment to save Josslyn. The deal may matter after the rescue. The mission itself would be personal. Now I want to bring Lucas into this because I think Lucas could be the unexpected clue that blows everything open. Lucas living at Windermere creates a dangerous possibility. If Josslyn is hidden there, Lucas could notice something small. A locked room, a sound at night. Pascal acting strange. A tray of food going somewhere it should not go. A piece of clothing, a voice. In my opinion, Lucas does not need to uncover the entire plot. He only needs to see enough to become a problem. And once Lucas becomes a problem, he may disappear too. That twist would be brutal because it would widen the crisis. Suddenly, Carly is not the only one panicking. Suddenly, Ava is pulled directly into the storm. If Lucas goes missing from Windermere, Ava cannot ignore that. She may not know at first that Lucas and Josslyn are connected in the same nightmare, but once she senses something wrong, I think Ava would do what Ava does best. Survive, manipulate, and strike when no one expects it. And this is where my theory gets even more interesting. Ava joining Jason's rescue mission would be unexpected, but I think it could work. Ava has history with Windermere. She knows darkness. She knows Cassidy's secrets. She knows what it feels like to live in a beautiful place that hides ugly truths. If Jason brings force, Ava brings instinct. If Brennan brings intelligence, Ava brings personal knowledge. If Carly brings fury, Ava brings calculation. In my opinion, that combination could be the only reason Josslyn and Lucas make it out alive. But I also feel like the rescue may not end the story. It may only start the next one. Because if Josslyn is injected with hallucinogenic drugs, what happens after she is saved? What if she wakes up and says Cassius was there? What if she says Pascal helped him? What if she mentions Faison, Anna, or something from the past that sounds impossible? Would people believe her? Would even Carly panic and wonder if the drugs are still talking? Would Brennan hide part of the truth to protect his own operation? And what about Anna? I think Anna's past could become the key to believing Josslyn. Anna may see the pattern before anyone else. She may recognize the symptoms, the fear, the disorientation, the way a victim sounds when reality has been chemically attacked. In my opinion, Anna could become Josslyn's strongest defender because Anna knows what it feels like to tell the truth and be treated like a delusion. That would be emotionally powerful. I feel like this story could force Port Charles to confront one ugly question. How many victims were ignored because their pain sounded too strange? And the biggest twist may be this. Cassius may not be trying to hide Josslyn forever. He may be trying to release her at the perfect moment, damaged enough to be doubted, but alive enough to create chaos. That is more frightening than a simple kidnapping. That is psychological warfare. So I think Jason's mission may become a race against time, not just to find Josslyn, but to find her before Cassius completes the transformation he wants. Before Josslyn is turned from a witness into a warning. Before Lucas becomes collateral damage. Before Windermere swallows another truth. I could be wrong. This is just my interpretation. But in my opinion, Windermere is not just a location in this theory. It is the villain's stage. It is where the past and present may collide. It is where Anna's nightmare may return through Josslyn. And it is where Jason may have to make a deal that changes everything. But here is the open question I cannot shake. If Jason saves Josslyn and Lucas, what secret does he uncover inside Windermere that Brennan does not want anyone to know? Because I feel like the rescue may expose Josslyn's prison, but it may also unlock a much bigger betrayal.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.